Remember that now we are moving to the computation part of this question of May 2015. With the first part of the question is all about the classification, a statement of expense allocation. So it's all about statement of expenses allocation, statement of expenses allocation, statement of expense allocation. So the expenses can be classified either under the cost of sales. It can be either under the cost of sales. It can be either under the admin, or it can be either under selling and distribution. So there's distribution. So the finance cost, I will do it on a separate area because it only contains interest. It will only be consisting in interest. So these are the ones which contain a lot of items, and we need to consider them in this statement. So here, what I will do, I will start with the balances as by the balance sheet, not balance sheet, but trial balance. Sorry for that. That is as per the trial balance. So the balances as per trial balance. So what you are given in the trial balance. So cost of sales. So if you are not given cost of sales direct in the trial balance, you have to do it. You have to do it if you are not given. So right now here, I can't see we are given cost of sales because already I can see we have stock. So opening stock is here. So this stock, we add the purchases. What is the purchases? So I will start from there. Opening stock plus the purchases. So purchases. So this is the purchases. I have to add the purchases. So remember that once you purchase, you might have after sales service, the carriage inwards. After you purchase, you might have a carriage inward. So you can see we have a carriage inward. This one, you need to add it to your purchase. After doing that, you less your closing stock. So the one which was given in note 1. So since the cost of sales is not provided, that is what you are supposed to do. You take the opening stock plus purchases minus the closing stock. But obvious, if there's a carriage inward, you need to add it to purchases. All right, so my opening stock, which already, I think you have the question and I've already displayed. We have 349 plus purchases. So the purchases is 2048. You minus. Before I minus, I said I have to add the carriage inwards. So opening stock plus purchases, of which under purchases you add the carriage inwards. Then you minus the closing stock as per note 1, the 504. You minus that. What are you getting? So 349 plus 2148 plus 34 minus 504. 2027.
2022.
2027. It's supposed to be 2027. 349 plus 2148 plus 34 minus 504. 2027. Then admin, you have it, administrative expense. So the admin as per the trial balance is the admin. Sorry?
29.
It's 29. Eh? What about distribution, sharing and distribution? So this one, it was not there. We don't have the balance pulled down. Eh? Then what we do after you have recorded what you have from the trial balance, go to your additional information number 1. Start from number 1 going downwards. So additional information number 1, remember that additional information number 1, there was inventory closing, and they gave us a fair value of a financial asset, which increased to 185. So there we don't have any expense. Note 2, there was software, which was amortized over 2 years. So we talk about amortization. We talk about amortization. And I said this was 100. I think you show that you divide the 2. Divide by 2. So the 100 divided by 2. So 100 divided by 2, you get 50. So, and they said in note 2, amortization is classified as a cost of sales. So you classify it as a cost of sales item. Classify as a cost of sales item. Number 3, they talked about accrued admin expenses and the salaries and wages. Mute, guys. So we have a accrued admin. We have accrued admin expense. So I said accrued. First we do what? We add it back to the respective. We add it back to the respective. We add it back to the respective expense. Accrued admin. So accrued, we add it here because we have already the admin, which is 29. We add that one direct. Then they said again, there is an accrued salaries and wages. There's an accrued salaries and wages. There's an accrued salaries and wages. What you do, you need to check salaries and wages in the trial balance. So salaries and wages in the trial balance, I can be able to see it's 298 in the trial balance. Then I need to add the one which is accrued, the 42, according to note 3. So 298 plus the 42. 298 plus the 42. 298 plus the 42. 340.
Yes, 340.
340. Then if you check on your last additional information, they gave us a way in which salaries and wages is supposed to be classified. 40%, 50%. Joy, you have a question? Yes?
No, I'm okay.
All right. So in the last additional information, they said 40% will go to the cost of sales, of which 40% of this amount is 136. Then they said 50%, that is according to note 9. 50% will go to the admin. So 50% here is 170. Then lastly, they said 10% will go to the distribution. So that is 34. So that is fine. Remember, we are still in note 3. We have dealt with the accrued. The next, you talk about prepaid rent and rates. Prepaid rent and rates. So there was prepaid rent and rates of 12. So what you come here and write is rent and rates. Rent and rates. So rent and rates, you check rent. in the trial balance. So the rent in the trial balance. So that is 282. In the trial balance, it's 282. So then remember that prepayments you reduce. A prepaid expense will reduce the respective expense. So 282 reduced with what was prepaid. The amount which was prepaid as at 31st March 2015, that is according to note 3, it was 12. So you reduce that by 12. So 282 minus 12, you are getting 270. You are getting what? 270. Then they gave us a way in which we are supposed to classify. But even if they never give you a way, but most of this one, they have to give you a way to classify. If they have not done that, you have to determine where to classify them. You have to make a decision, either under admin or distribution. But most of them, they would rely under admin. Like now, salaries and wages, remember you are paying your directors and so on, employees, that is admin. Rent and rates, you are paying your rent maybe for the building of the business. So it goes to the admin. So that is obviously written. So that is how you think, then you classify them if you are not told. So rent and rates, they said in note 9, 40% goes to the cost of sales. So 40% of 270. So 270 times 40%, that is 108. 108. Then the other one,
Yeah.
we have which percentage? 30% of that. So this is 181. Then the other one was again 30%, which is 81. 81. So we are done with note 3. Let us move to note 4. Note 4, there was a machine. There was a machine which was done what? Disposed. So we need to get again what are loss on the disposal of that machine. We need to get again or loss on the disposal of that machine. So what I will do, I have to open a disposal account. I have to open a disposal account. So I have to open a disposal account here. So in order to get a gain or loss, because if it will be a loss, it will be an expense. If it will be a gain, it will be an income, of which I don't have to record incomes here. But if it will be a loss, I have to classify it because it's an expense. So let us do that disposal account. And this is the standard way to prepare it. So any disposal account, when you are doing your published, so disposal account, on the debit side, it must have a cost of the asset which is disposed. After that, you have to do what? On the credit side, it must have accumulated depreciation. Accumulated depreciation of the asset being disposed. At the same time, on the credit side, you must record the proceeds. You must record the proceeds. So this asset which was disposed, was having which cost? The figure for cost was, they said that a machine was sold on 1st April 2014 for 29. So 29 would be my proceed. 29 is the proceed. The initial cost of the machine was 60. Accumulated depreciation is 16. 16. Let us balance our account. So that is the way. So we are getting
45, 15.
15, not 45. So that is 15. On the credit side, which means that this is a loss. So if it could have been on debit side, we say it's again on disposal. So if your balancing figure is on the debit side, say gain. If it's on the credit side, it's a loss. So we have 60 and here is 60. So that is a loss. Remember, this is my balancing figure, the 15. So that is now the one we record. Since it's a loss, obvious. Since it's a loss, it's an expense. Since it's a loss, it's an expense. I have to record it here. So that is loss on disposal of machine. Loss on disposal of the machine. Mute yourself. There's someone who is making a noise on the background. So I need to check where to classify that loss of 15. Where am I supposed to classify that loss of 15 of the machine? Where can I classify it?
Cost of sales.
Under
according
cost
to
of sales.
Cost of sales.
So that is cost of sales. It's okay. So which is 15?
Yes.
After that, we move to the next additional information. So we move to additional information number 5. Building are depreciated at 2% per annum using straight line method. So we need the depreciation of the building. We need depreciation of that building. So depreciation on building. So remember that it would be 2% on. So remember, what you are given in the trial balance is land and building. What you are given in your equation is land and building. And they say that, let me display anyway, again. So what you have, here in this question is all about the land and building. You can see this, So land and building, so the 1,800. So now they say that the land contains what of this amount? So you need to get specifically building. Rand is never depreciated, my friend. So that is why they went ahead to say
Hazard of the cost.
a third.
Part of 18. Yes.
Yes, they say that third. Rand comprises a third. So building would be 2/3. So building would be 2/3. So if rand is a third, building would be 2/3. It would be 2/3. So you take 2/3 of 1,800. So once you get that, you multiply with the 2%. So you are getting 2/3 of 18 times 2. That is
24.
24.
Then we classify as told. We are told in note 9.
As cost of sales.
Cost of sales, not cost of sales. Depreciation on buildings, 50%.
Depreciation plus
15, that is
plus 2 cost of sales.
50%. Then the others 25. So let's continue. The next, they were talking about that note 5. They talked about machinery. Machinery and equipment are depreciated at 30% and 20% respectively. So machinery, you need to consider what you disposed. Machinery, you have to consider this. So in order now to get your depreciation on machinery, you need to consider first what you disposed. So remember that it is on reducing. So remember that the reducing, you have to take your cost, you have to raise your accumulated depreciation. But before I do that, before I take cost minus accumulated depreciation, I need to get my correct cost and my correct accumulated depreciation after disposal. The total machine, the figure of the machine was
840.
it was 840. That is the figure there. So you minus what they disposed. The cost was the one which was
60.
disposed, you minus. So accumulated depreciation, the total accumulated depreciation was from the trial balance.
That is
460.
416.
So you minus the one which was disposed. The one which was disposed, it was having an accumulated depreciation of 16. So once I do that, I will get here 780, and I will get my 400. So this is all about 300. So now after getting the correct cost and my accumulated depreciation there, I will say cost minus accumulated depreciation. Then after getting that, I will take the percentage now we are given. So the percentage we are given in the question is 30%. So 30% of 380. So 30% of that, what figure are you getting? $114. So that is the 114. So once you have the 114, that is what now concerns depreciation for the year. So this is now the depreciation for the year. That is the depreciation for the year, for the machine. And that is what we record as an expense. That is what we record here. So that is what we record here. So depreciation. So depreciation for machinery. Please mute your mics. So depreciation for machinery. So that is 114. So 114, they say that according to note 9, they said that the 100% of that, they said 100%, no, that is for the equipment. So we need to determine where to classify this because they never mentioned that. So I can classify under the cost of sales. Because already you can see even the loss on disposal of machine, we have classified under the cost of sales. So even depreciation of that machine, which is 114, can be classified under the cost of sales, because you can see even the loss, we just classified it under that cost of sales. So after that, we do next. So the next one is concerning the depreciation on equipment. The depreciation on equipment. So we have depreciation on equipment. So the depreciation on equipment, remember that this is more direct because obvious, I will take my cost minus accumulated depreciation because it's reducing. So I have to use 20%, Then I will, in order to be reducing, I have to go to my trial balance. Take the cost of the equipment, which is 320, minus the accumulated depreciation for that equipment, which is given 70. So it's the cost minus accumulated depreciation. After that, you multiply with depreciation rate. So 320 minus 70 times 0.2 times 0.2. So 50, I'm getting 50. And that one already I know that as per note 9, as per note 9, they said that 100%. So the 50, the entire 50 to be classified under the administrative. That is according to note 9. So since we are done up to note 5, we go to note 6. Note 6, there is an allowance for doubtful debt, which is to be increased by 4. I said an increase in doubtful debt. An increase in doubtful debt is an expense. So it was increased, obvious, you know that. So the increase, so that increase in allowance for doubtful debt, therefore, the increase in allowance for doubtful debts so the increase is supposed to be an expense. So therefore, and this one can be classified under the admin because they are not specific, but I'm recording it under admin because who came up with this decision of saying that since we have given out we have extended some rendings and we expect that these people might not pay, let us make a provision. Remember, these are administrative related decisions. So that's why I am recording it under admin. That is why I am recording it under admin, the increase. Then after that, we need to talk about another item that is according to note 7. Note 7, they said there was an income tax. There was an income tax. So the income tax was 58. Then they said admin expense include under provision. So we have to raise that. You cannot classify tax under admin. You can never do that. The 3 million or under provision was under admin. So you are not supposed to do that. So what I will do here is all about I will have to subtract the under provision. I have to raise under provision because it was under the admin. I have to raise from there. Then it will be added to 58, which is the tax. Then they will have to reduce. Then we continue on the other side here. We just continue. So the continuation on the other side, remember here we have cost of sales, admin, and we have distribution. We have the distribute. So after that note, what? Note 7 of subtracting the 3, which was included under administrative expenses. We go to note 8 where we have audit fees. We have the audit fees. So the audit fees of 25, remember that this one is an admin rated item. Then once we are done, remember that we are done with the additional information. So once you are done with additional information, go back to the trial balance. So go back to the trial balance. So under the trial balance, check another expense. Check another expense which we have not done once. We have not included in the classification. So if you go to your trial balance there, if you go to your trial balance here, we can see we have which expenses. We start from where? Go software, not software, admin, maintenance. We have maintenance. Because already things like salaries and wages we have done with those. So maintenance, then we move to postage and stationery. So after postage, I want to record them so that you would be giving me the figures. After that, yeah, the maintenance of machinery, that one, the 31, the 31 we can record it under cost of sales, because already like now a lot of items concerning machine has been recorded under the cost of sales. Postage, that is obviously rated, the 18, it goes to admin. Then after that, we have another expense down here, down there of 122, the directors remuneration. So directors remuneration, that one goes to admin, the 122, because that is obviously rated. So after that, another thing which is remaining, we have advertising. We have advertising. Advertising, remember that it was you were advertising to facilitate sales. So it goes to the distribution, selling and distribution. Far end, the 34, or it was 149, it's 149. It goes to the distribution. You advertise to sell, you know that. Then the last expense is carriage outwards. Carriage outwards is an expense. Customers bought some items in your business and you just provided to them after sales service. So automatically goes to the distribution. The way I've explained, customers bought and you gave them after sales services. So obvious that it was facilitating your sales. It was facilitating your sales. So that is what I have done. That is what I have done. So this is 26, not the 34. Sorry for that. So the 26. So that you can add, you can be able to add, so that we can be able to get the total. Have you been writing somewhere? I think you have them. Or they are here. Or you have been making short notes. Guys, I think you have been making short notes.
Yes.
So cost of sales. I think Joy, you can do cost of sales. Henry, admin, and the other one, Steve, distribution.
Yeah.
Those totals.
$24.93 cost of sales.
Yes, cost of sales is $24.93. Then Henry, kazi kwako for admin.
501.
That is?
501.
See, you have not added something maybe. It's 29 plus 11 plus 170. Are you saying that
20.
plus 81, plus 6 plus 50 plus the 4 minus
Yes.
3. Then we have the others here, 25, 18,
122.
130.
18.
Are you getting this? It's supposed to be 513.
Yes.
The 513.
513.
It's supposed to be 513.
Yes.
Yes. The better thing is that you have the same, you have the same notes. So maybe if you are missing some figures, you will reconfirm. Again, this class for today is a recorded one. You will get the recording. If you want the recording, you will get. But I will not be recording classes because I know you will not attend if I do so. So 3481 plus 6 plus 149 plus 26. The last one is 296. So then, which other expense we have not looked at? So finance cost, So the finance cost, you consider your interest, You consider the items of loan, Like now I can say I have 6%. So this one, So you just, I have the two of them. I have 8%. There's the first one, 8% loan stock, 8% loan,
Yes.
and I have 6% redeemable. Redeemable is a liability. Irredeemable is equity. So what you will do, like now here, to get the interest which was on the loan, you take 8% of 200. So 8% of 200 is, then you take 6% of 400. So this one would be 24, and the first one is 16. So the total, so I'm doing this. So the 8% of 200 and 6% of 400. So you are supposed to get a total of 40. And that is how you are supposed to classify the expenses under the functional heads, which is cost of sales, admin, and selling and distribution. And also we have the finance cost. So now you will log in back once you are logged out, so that now we can be able to present the income statement from the classification we have done. So I think you are gaining on how to do this published.